What are you having Nerlens do while he's down here?
Just integrating with the team, uh, studying a lot of tape, scripting with his teammates, with the understanding that, we have a chance to see him soon. And so just all that trying to, ramp it up where he can go to an NBA court more comfortable.
Why is it important for you to have him on the road?
Well, all that stuff ends up being important where it's just relationally, it's stuff that, something comes up structurally. He's a part of a team. And I think that when you win situations like, say, Ben Simmons, who's in a boot or has non-weight bearing restrictions, to cart him around is a little bit more difficult. And so, like, soon you're going to see, Ben Simmons coming to a team bench where he doesn't come out with, boots and you have to push him in some type of, wheeling apparatus.
There's involved in this.
So, all that stuff. We have dealt with so many injuries trying to find that balance of dealing with their health and so on, then integrating them back into a team is part of growing a program.
How far away is he, do you think, getting on the court?
Merlin?
Yeah.
I don't think far away.
Really?
No.
Like maybe this weekend?
Maybe.
Okay. Does he need a lot of time, Brett, is he the type of guy that can just go out there and you think you can throw him out there for 15 minutes or so? Because he's pretty athletic.
Yeah, you can fake it.
Yeah.
But you can fake it. But as far as, I almost think with him especially, to let his athleticism truly shine, there has to be a comfort level that he knows what he's doing so that he can just do it and not have to think. And so structurally to put him in an environment that's simple and clean and not something he's got to paralyze himself with thinking about structure, he just plays and runs. That's the environment initially that I owe it to him to put him in, where it's not calculus and needs to be addition so that his athleticism can shine. He seemed fine. Enough for me to start him tonight. Yep, he was on the plane with Nerlens yesterday. It's great to see them both. And we have fantastic team camaraderie. Despite losing that we've gone through, the team is great. You see it, you feel it. And seeing them both down here, I'm glad to have them both back. Robert to be on a court, Nerlens to be integrated back in. Well, we'll start out the way we've been going, but I do think if Nerlens and Jaleel were ready to go, it's a game that I would start two bigs. And that is not far away. And this would have been one of those games. If you go to Detroit and say Tobias Harris is at a 4, well, that's not a great matchup, is it? And so, it's all sort of part of the plan. Tonight would have been one of the nights where we just started big ball.
So how do you approach limiting Anthony Davis?
It's what every coach would come in and say. You talk about catches, you talk about team, you talk about trying to give some level of help at a post. All the things that we would expect. His I think the challenge for anybody is it's not like he does it in one way. He really can score in a variety of ways. And so it's not like, you're game planning for Shaq or, you're game planning for, maybe Steph Curry, who's more on the perimeter. He just does it in a bunch of ways. And so he leads the NBA in scoring for a reason. He has a lot on his shoulders, yet he still leads the NBA in scoring. And, it will be a challenge.
Timmy Frazier's having a pretty nice year for those guys. The face that you make when I bring up his name, is that somebody you wouldn't mind laying around a little bit longer?
I feel any time you watch somebody like him, you feel like we had decent taste in identifying him. he was one of the most interesting interviews that I had. He came in, he's telling me about his dual majors and international shipping and how he intends on sort of growing his own life off the floor. You know, he's a Penn State grad. Talked about his influence his mom had on just trying to get into like the logistics of international shipping and how to move something from one part of the world to the other. And I'm like sitting at this young kid, he's thinking, wow, like completely got his head on his shoulders. And then he came into our gym to just try to be really a inviter for Penn State, to help Penn State alums and all that come in to just help build a workout. And he was the best kid in the gym. And so we end up having a little bit of a taste with him, but on and off the court, he was somebody for me that you remember.
Brett, when you do get Nerlens back, how is that going to change the way this team looks?
I think it does in all over the place, because what happens for me is, and I'm glad that we've had a taste of it, when Robert was injured, you had a chance to like move Dario down to a 3, because Dario is the one that, if you're not careful, could take a hit. If you got, you know, Jaleel and Nerlens and Joel, Rashawn, it's a given. Like he's and we saw again what he does when he plays. You know, we saw it again in Memphis, and you know, we've seen what Irsan does, 17 rebounds, and tough, and really could score also in a variety of ways. And so you try to like project out, well, what does it mean? It means things all over the place. There's ripple effects that influence the team and the design of the team and the structure and how you play and how you sub it. And it's a challenge, you know, when you're 20 some odd games deep, but that's a good thing. We have our players coming back, and that'll be on me to figure it out.
Brett, you've done such an impeccable job of keeping the locker room together. Does it ever concern you having Nerlens around that has expressed frustration? You know, he's established himself with your club, but does that ever concern you having that?
It does, but I feel like it's so much a part of what we try to do around here that it's not like you're going to blink and you feel like you've forgotten something that equals camaraderie, that equals team, that equals trying to keep this together, and you've left it for a week of 7 days. Like, it's a day-to-day focus for me. And it's a very candid conversation with me and the player. And the team hears it, the individual hears it, we all understand it, whether it's with, you know, any of our guys that are trying to hold jobs, that are, you know, thinking about, is my future going to be here? Am I going to be traded? You know, it's just the same old, same old. It's like, here we are, now what? And I say that often, and we remind ourselves of it often. Here we are, now what? And we need to coexist, and we need to understand the reality of it all too. There's a human side that you understand, but it's also, it's pride, it's competitiveness, it's do your job, it's nothing is given, you gotta take stuff, draw your own line in the sand, competitors rule the day. That's all I know. And so that's the roadmap that I hope to follow with our guys and stay consistent with that.